are the 4 steps to manifesting properly? Number 1, we've already done that. You got to give yourself permission to dream with the lid off. And for many of you, this is going to be the hardest part. Seriously, you have held yourself back for so long, you don't even allow yourself to dream. And here's the thing, you're allowed to want things. You're allowed to want more for your life. In fact, you're wired this way. And part of what you need to do is you got to give yourself permission to want things again. You know, I guarantee you that when some of you wrote down what you wanted, you shrunk it. You literally said, okay, I'm going to write down this little thing, but I'm going to make it really, really small because I'm worried that it's not going to happen. And so one of the things that I want you to do is I want you right now, dream with the lid off. If the manifesting that I'm teaching you removes the doubt, removes the fear, if it lowers the friction and the resistance that you feel to doing the work to get what you want, what is it that you dream of doing for real? Like I almost, with you guys, I almost said, I'm going to launch one of the top podcasts in the world. I almost shrunk it down, everybody. But then I pushed through because I've been manifesting this. No, I'm launching the #1 female hosted podcast in the world, period. So what is it that you are interested in having? Like, don't shrink it down. Write down what you want, because this is step #1. And the reason why this is so important is because, you know, you have a filter in your brain. You have a filter in your brain called the reticular activity system. And this filter works just like the Discover page on Instagram. So if you're ever on Instagram, and TikTok is the same way, there's the page where you can discover new accounts. And if you've ever noticed what Instagram shows you on that mosaic and what TikTok shows you when you're kind of looking for new things are accounts that are just like the accounts that you follow. And that changes in real time all the time. So right now, my Discover page has a lot of accounts with nails because I've been growing my nails out. It has a lot of home design accounts because my husband and I are building our dream home here in the United States in southern Vermont. It has a lot of motivational accounts. And so it is reflecting back what I'm already looking at. One of the reasons why it's important for you to allow yourself and give yourself permission to want the things that you want without limiting it is because when you limit it, the filter in your brain pays attention and it limits what you see. When you start to give yourself permission to dream with the lid off, to just let your desires flow through you, then check this out. The filter in your brain changes in real time, just like the Discover page in Instagram, and it'll start showing you more of what you want. It's freaking cool. Now, you can practice what I'm saying 2 ways. #1, there's a game that you can play that I call Find a Heart. Every single day, wake up and play this game where you're going to try to find a heart that is naturally occurring in the world around you. It could be a leaf, it could be a cloud, it could be a stain in your coffee. Tell your brain, show me a heart. And then look for hearts all day. And you'll be shocked because all of a sudden, you'll be walking past a building that you walk past every single day, and there, right on the side of the building, the coloration on the brick of the building, it is as plain as day. There is a freaking heart right there on the side of the building. You've missed it. You've walked past this building 1,000 times. It's been there the whole time. Why am I seeing it now? I'll tell you why. That Discover page in your brain, the filter in your brain, you told it you wanted to see hearts. Just like I've started looking at nails. And now suddenly the filter is showing you what's important to you. That's how your brain works. So one way you can start to do this is look for hearts. The second thing that you can do is you can start your day every morning in your journaling practice by writing down 5 things that you want. That's it. 5 things that you want. What do you want? You want a purse? You want a new job? You want a loving relationship? You want to feel happy again? You want to have more fun in your life? You want to finally be able to do a handstand? You want to be a best-selling, whatever you want. It can be the same thing every single day, or it could be new things every day. Because what you're doing when you give yourself permission to dream and to let those desires flow through you again is now what we're doing is we are letting you start to lead with your dreams. Literally, you can lower the resistance by inverting this and letting the dreams flow through you. Every day, look for a heart, write down 5 things that you want, and you are well on your way to step 1 of learning how to manifest properly. And that is, let the desire lead. Let the dreams flow through you, and that way your mind will start paying attention. The second step I've already given you an example of when I talked about visualizing making a mocktail step by step by step by step, all the way down to peeling the lime and twisting it and that little juice going off of it. That type of step by step by step encoding in your procedural memory is step number 2. The thing that most of us get wrong about manifesting is that we have this big dream, like publishing a book or launching a podcast, and all you dream about is the end. That's it. You miss the bridge between where you are and the thing that you want. And so let's use another metaphor, everybody, okay? Let's use the metaphor of running a marathon. So a marathon is 26.2 miles. How many of you have on your bucket list, someday it would be amazing to run and complete a marathon? That would be something pretty cool to do before I die. Now you may have a million excuses for why it's not going to happen, but just allow the dream to flow through you. Have you ever wanted to summit a mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro? Have you ever wanted to run a marathon, something like a 5K, doesn't matter. We're going to use this as a teaching tool. So let's say that your goal is to run a marathon, 26.2 miles, okay? The mistake that everybody makes is they literally visualize crossing the finish line. That's not how manifesting works. Manifesting, remember, is the bridge that's going to get you to the finish line. Manifesting is preparing you. It's like a training run. So what do you manifest? What do you visualize when you want to complete a marathon? You got to visualize the pain in the rear end stuff. You got to visualize running in the rain. Visualize your alarm going off at 5:30 in the morning. It's dark. It's cold. You don't want to get out of bed, but you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed. And then you visualize yourself pulling on your tights and the dog is looking at you. And you visualize walking through a quiet apartment or house. And then you visualize opening up the front door and, it's raining. And you visualize that you don't want to go outside and maybe you'll skip the run, but then you visualize grabbing your raincoat and going out that door. And then you know what you visualize? You visualize yourself at mile 7 on a training run and your earbuds, the batteries die. And you just want to give up. But guess what? You keep running. That's the kind of stuff that you visualize. You visualize the hard, the annoying, the stuff you don't want to do. If you want to make more money, you better visualize staying in on the weekends and working on your business instead of blowing your cash at the bar. If you want to have a different relationship with your spouse, you should visualize going to counseling or listening to books about how to improve your relationship and working on yourself. Seriously, you gotta visualize the hard stuff, okay? That's step 2. The step by step by step by step by step, the path, the bricks along the way. Now, step 3 of visualizing correctly. Feel what you are visualizing. That procedural memory, step by step by step by step. Feel it in your body. What does it feel like to do this. You know, what's interesting is research from UCLA says that, visualization works because we are activating the part of the brain that you use when you're actually doing those actions. So you are rehearsing it before you even do it. And according to research from UCLA, this is why manifesting is so powerful. Okay, everybody? So again, step number one, you got to give yourself permission to dream. And you're going to start training your spirit to lead. And you're going to start training the filter in your brain, the RAS, to help you get what you want. And you're going to do that by A, looking for hearts every single day, play a little game. And B, you're going to start your day by writing down 5 things that you want, just as an exercise to learn how to let your desires flow through you. Step number 2 of manifesting the correct way is you visualize the bridge, brick by brick by brick by brick, visualizing the steps that you're going to take along the way. This is how you encode the behavior into your procedural memory and thereby reduce the friction and resistance that you feel to taking those steps. Step number 3, you got to feel it in your body. Feel it in your body. This taps into your nervous system, everybody. So as you're taking these actions that are really difficult, you want to take the actions. And, and I see this question, but why visualize the heavy stuff? I'll tell you why. Because the hard stuff is what you're avoiding. The hard stuff is where your doubt comes in. The really difficult things is where you come up with excuses and reasons not to do it. And so we're going to lower your resistance, your excuses, your fear, your anxiety, which raises your courage, your confidence, and your brain's ability to help you get moving. Because you're not going to change your life by simply thinking about what you want. You change your life by changing the actions that you take. And right now, the difficult, the hard, the heavy, the irritating, the annoying, you got a bazillion reasons for why you're not doing that stuff. And so we're going to use manifesting to lower your resistance internally to doing the hard, the heavy, the awful stuff. So when you feel yourself walking out that door at 5:45 in the morning with your rain jacket on and going for that run when you didn't feel like it, I also want you to feel proud of yourself for doing it, okay? That's what you do. When you visualize yourself staying in and working on your business plan, instead of spending money that you need to save or invest in your business, feel proud of yourself as you are rehearsing that in your mind. That's a really important step in this. And this is, your brain is visualizing you taking action, but now your body also is tapping into the pride that you feel when you do something that's really hard. Now, the 4th step of manifesting, do the work. All that stuff that you're visualizing, you got to use my 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and push yourself to take the actions. It's not sexy like The Secret of just thinking about this stuff and expecting it to come to you. You got to do the little things brick by brick by brick and take the actions that lay the groundwork for this change. And, here's the thing that's super cool about it. When you do this and you start practicing this skill and you use manifesting as a tool, you are training your mind, your body, and your spirit to align with what you want instead of resisting it and being afraid of it. And when you align your mind, body, and spirit with what you want, you will be naturally inspired and motivated and empowered to take the actions to walk toward it. That's why this works. Like the hardest part for everybody is to start. And the reason why is not only the patterns of procrastination and anxiety and stuff that you get trapped in, but it's also because your goals feel so far away that you don't believe that just starting is going to even chip away at it. And so, number 1, because it sounds like I just contradicted myself. Yes,
You need to have something like a beach house or the NASDAQ bell or the business you're starting or the love affair of your life or the family you've always envisioned or the health that you've always dreamt about. Absolutely. Swing for the fences. What do you want it to look like 10 years from now? But when it comes to manifesting based on science, I want you to think as manifesting as a bridge. Manifesting is a bridge that's made of bricks between you and the thing that you dream about. And what you do when you manifest is you don't manifest where the bridge is going. You manifest the bricks. So a great example is a marathon. So let's say that you've never run a day in your life, but your bucket list is to complete the London Marathon. Yes, you can put on your vision board a photograph of a runner crossing the London Marathon. You can even put the dream that you have in terms of the number that you want the time to be, okay? But you better put a runner in the rain up there. You better put an alarm clock that says 4:30 in the morning, because that's what time you're going to have to get up in order to get your training runs in. You better put a runner that's gripping their leg like this when they get a muscle cramp. You better put up, a vision of you at mile 13 and your earbuds run out and you still got 2 more miles to go. Visualization is the bricks. And so what I want you to do when you visualize is, instead of visualizing, the marathon, I did it, oh, it's amazing. And then you open up, you're like, okay, and I still have not even bought a pair of sneakers. That's not happening, but that was a fun little exercise. No, what you do is you literally visualize, walk into the store and get sneakers. Call your friend who runs and ask for advice. Oh my God, that's me on my first training run. I've only gone 30 seconds and I'm out of breath. Oh, there I am running 3 miles in the rain and I feel proud of myself because I've actually gone out in the rain. Oh, there I am saying no to my friends. I can't go out tonight because I didn't get my run in, but I'm going to go on my big run alone. That, like, you visualize the annoying, irritating, amazing things. I'm sure people look at you all the time with your extraordinary success, Stephen, and are like, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? And like, do you know how many things I missed out on? Do you know how many, the amount of work that nobody wants to do because they're not thinking about it is extraordinary. That's the bridge. Anybody is capable of achieving anything. I actually believe that because I think human beings are designed to change. You're capable of breaking any pattern. You're capable of getting control of your health. You're capable of launching a business. You're capable of making millions of dollars. You're capable of healing your trauma, of finding love, of doing absolutely anything that you put your mind to, as long as you are willing to do the work for it and as long as you give up your timeline. Because I do believe that people who put in the work get rewarded.
Do you know that there has been a 700% increase in Google searches for manifestation and manifesting techniques just this year alone? So if you're brand new to manifesting, you are in the right place because I'm going to unpack the basics for you. I'm going to help you understand this. And more importantly, I'm going to empower you to put this to use in your life to help you get what you want. And if you've been trying to manifest for a while now and it's not working, this is also an exceptionally awesome video for you to watch because it is probably going to reveal some of the mistakes you've been making. And so let's just jump into it. So here's what we're going to cover in this video. First of all, I'm going to give you a definition for manifesting that's going to clear a lot of stuff up. Next, I'm going to talk about what it is for real based on science and what it can help you do, and what it isn't. How manifesting is very different than dreaming, hoping, wishing, and wanting, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about why this is a skill that you need. I'm going to tell you a story about how some of the top performing athletes in the world at the highest level, Olympic levels, are using the science of manifestation to get what they want when it comes to performing at their top level. I'm also going to tell you a deeply personal story about how my husband and I used manifesting over 20 years ago to help us get this incredible dream house, this farmhouse that we always wanted outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And by the time that we are done with this, you're going to feel so excited, so empowered, because you're going to know what manifesting is. You're going to understand why you need it. And you are also going to be equipped to get started using it. All right. So let's start with the definition of manifesting. What the heck is manifesting, Mel Robbins? Well, let me tell you what manifesting isn't, okay? Manifesting is not thinking thoughts and then hoping that they come true. Thoughts become things only when your thoughts inspire you to take the actions to get those things. That's where manifesting comes in. Manifesting is preparing your mind, body, and spirit to help you take the actions to get those things. That's right. I'm going to say that again. Manifesting is like training for getting what you want. Manifesting is socializing your mind, preparing your mind, rehearsing your mind to help you take the steps before you take the steps so that you can get what you want. When you use manifesting properly, what you do is you remove the obstacles of self-doubt, of resistance, of being cautious, of focusing on tiny minutia, of feeling blank and overwhelmed. You remove all that crap and you retrain your mind and you retrain your nervous system and you retrain your spirit to help you get the things that you want in life. And when you manifest properly, what it does is it inspires you to take the actions that lead you to what you want. Now that sounds like a lot of okay, Mel, what does that actually mean? What it means is this. Manifesting is going to help you see, feel, and act your way toward the things that you want. That's what it does. It's so freaking cool. Now let me tell you the difference between manifesting according to science and wishing, wanting, hoping, dreaming. Let's focus on sort of wishing. There's a lot of you that are confusing wishing for something with manifesting, okay? They're the opposite ends of the spectrum. And so before I kind of explain the two, let me just give you an example so that we can use the example to compare and to contrast, okay? One big goal and dream that a lot of people have is financial freedom. The ability to take your kids to Disney World, the ability to buy what you want, the ability to put enough money away so that you don't have to worry about money, the ability to buy the things that you need, to go on the trips that you want. Financial freedom is something that you deserve in your life. It's something that you can do the work to achieve in your life. And so let's talk about the goal of financial freedom and the difference between wishing for financial freedom and hoping and dreaming about it versus manifesting and doing the work to go get it. If you can hear my cat outside, you know that he sounds like he's dying. What he's actually doing is he's really pissed off because we have come into this little room and shut the door. And so he's walking around going, "Where are you? Where is everybody?" Let's take a listen for a minute. So did you notice that wishing he would leave didn't work? What you're going to always get when you watch Mel Robbins videos is you're going to get the real deal, okay? But literally the real deal, because this is real life. And these are tools for real people to make real changes. And so you might as well see what's going on. So the cat is now sleeping on my lap, and he's very happy. We were talking about financial freedom, which is a goal that so many people have, right? And what's the difference between you wanting and wishing for financial freedom and you manifesting it and using manifestation and the science of it to help you get it? The big difference between wishing for something and using manifesting to help you do the work to go get it is that when you wish that you were financially free, have you ever noticed that the second that you wish for something, like, I wish I would win the lottery, you're also present at the same time to the fact that you're lacking money right now. Like wishing that you would win the lottery, it doesn't bring up all of this sort of like empowering feelings. What it does is it reminds you that you're so broke that you need to win the lottery. And that's very different than manifesting. Manifesting is declaring what you want. I am committed to creating financial freedom in my life. And then once you declare what you want, manifesting is about the actions and empowering yourself to go get it. And there's a really big difference between focusing on, and wishing for something, which only reminds you that you're lacking it. Oh, I wish I would meet somebody. That just makes you feel more alone. I wish I could get in shape. That just makes you feel more out of shape. I wish I could win the lottery. That just makes you feel poorer. I wish I didn't have to work for this jerk. That just makes you feel more stuck. Do you feel how wishing for something amplifies what you don't like versus I'm going to manifest and work for more money in my life? I am committed to being in a loving relationship and I'm going to manifest and make it happen. I deserve to have a career that I love, and I'm going to use manifesting to help me get it. I want to be in incredible shape. I want to do a handstand in yoga. I want to heal my trauma, and I'm going to use manifesting to help me achieve those things. That's a big difference. Wishing and hoping makes you present to what you don't have. Manifesting makes you present and feeling empowered about what you want and your ability to go get it. And that highlights the second big difference. When you hope for things, when you wish for things, you are handing the power to somebody else or to outside forces. You are literally giving away your power because hoping and wishing just inherently assumes that somebody else is somehow going to come in and solve the problem. We all know that that's not happening. Manifesting, on the other hand, locates and amplifies the power inside of you to do the work to get those things, to do the work to change your life. And it's important that you locate the power inside of you because you're the one that's responsible for your dreams, and you're also the person that's in the best position to make those dreams a reality because you have the ability to change the way that you think. You have the ability to change the actions that you take every single day. And when you change the actions that you take and you change the way that you think, you change your entire life. And manifesting is a tool that will help you train your brain and train your nervous system and train your mind, body, and spirit to help you achieve the things that you want. The thing that's super important for you to get as a major takeaway from this video is the thoughts alone won't achieve the things that you desire. But if you manifest properly, it will inspire you to take action. And action is what will create the results that you deserve and that you want in your life. That's as simply as I can put it. I want to explain a little bit about the science. I promised you that I was going to quickly tell you a little bit about how some of the world's most successful athletes are using the science of manifestation in order to win at the Olympics, in order to come back after an injury. The U.S. Olympic team, there was a big article in the New York Times about this. They hire sports psychologists precisely for mental training. And what these sports psychologists are doing, there are 5 of them alone that work with the U.S. snowboarding and ski team. And what they do is they are doing the mental training with athletes before the Olympics to help them prepare to show up at the Olympics and absolutely crush it. And you're going to do the same thing. You are going to use manifestation to mentally prepare before and while you're doing the work to achieve your goals and dreams. Because when you mentally prepare, you remove all of the obstacles like self-doubt and nerves and anxiety and imposter syndrome and fear that are currently stopping you from taking action. And so how do you mentally prepare? Well, let me talk to you about the ski team because they do this super cool process that is basically what you do when you manifest. The sports psychologist would sit down with one of the gold medal winning skiers and snowboarders, particularly after injury. Because if you think about it, somebody that's been injured during competition, even after they've had surgery and they've recovered, they're going to be nervous about competing again. And you may feel the same way about going for what you want. You may have faced a bunch of setbacks. You may have faced a bunch of disappointments. You may have faced a bunch of rejection. And so you're nervous about putting yourself out there. That's okay. Feeling nervous is normal, but you're not going to let it stop you. We're going to use manifestation to train your mind, body, and spirit to be able to do the work. We're going to rehearse what you need to do in your mind and your body and your spirit so that when it comes time to do it, you feel like you've actually already done it, which removes your nerves. It's so cool. So back to the U.S. Ski and snowboarding team. The sports psychologist would sit with the athletes and, let's just say, the crazy snowboarding thing where they go off a jump and they do 50 million like hoops and loops and tricks and whatever. That's like a 10-second jump in the air. And so what the sports psychologist does is they have the snowboarder or the skier describe in detail, not the jump, but point A, point B, point C, point D, point E, point F, all the way to Z. Okay, I'm getting off the chairlift and I've got my snowboard tucked under my right arm and I'm walking up to the place where everybody's getting ready. And I hear the crunch, crunch, crunch of the snow and I feel the breeze. Do you notice I've got my eyes closed? I've got my eyes closed because I have made manifesting a habit. I do it every single morning. And when I start to manifest, I do something that I used to do as a trial lawyer, and that is put someone at the scene. Really good trial lawyers are able to put a jury right at a scene, right where it happened, with such detail that you can smell the cup of coffee on the counter. You can hear the cars passing outside. You can see the bright orange sweater that somebody's wearing right in your mind. You have the ability with your imagination to put yourself right at the scene. And that's exactly what these sports psychologists are coaching Olympic athletes to do. As you're standing there and the wind is blowing and your hat is on and they're calling your name, now you're clipping in. Now you're feeling the excitement in your stomach. Now you're feeling yourself push off. And you feel the momentum kick in and the gravity pull down and the speed increasing and you feel the lift off and you literally mentally rehearse visually and in your body feeling it. And what you're doing is you are preparing your body to be able to do it. Here's a cool fact about your brain. Your brain can't distinguish between real experiences that you've lived and the detailed experiences that you have imagined and felt through manifesting. So we are using your vision, we are using your ability to picture yourself there and feel yourself there as a way to prepare yourself to be there. And as you're seeing yourself doing all the work, I want you to feel this sense of pride and excitement in order to really imprint the step-by-step training in your mind, body, and spirit. All right, well, look, I'm no Olympic athlete, but I am a gold medalist when it comes to the science of manifestation. I used manifesting as a way to help me keep doing the work to find my dream house outside of Boston. This is the story of how I use manifesting to do the work to find a needle in a haystack, which was an antique farmhouse outside of Boston. So, 1997, my husband Chris and I are newlyweds. We moved from New York City to the Boston area. And we have moved from New York to the Boston area because we know that we want to start a family. We know we don't want to be in New York City. We know we want to buy a house and have a yard. And so we rent an apartment in Cambridge, which is, right next door to Boston. And for almost a year, we start looking for a house. Now, we were a really young newlywed couple. We did not have a lot of savings. And Boston It's a really expensive real estate market. And so we looked at houses every single weekend for an entire year. And we either would go to these open houses and we just hated the neighborhood, or we couldn't afford the house, and we were just feeling so discouraged. And it was about this time that I discovered the science of manifesting. And I luckily didn't just learn thoughts become things, I learned the see it, feel it, and you'll believe it form of manifesting that you're learning right now. And here's what I would do. I would, every single day, I knew what I wanted more than anything. I wanted to find an antique farmhouse with a big front porch. I wanted it to be in our budget. I wanted to have some land. I wanted to get a fixer-upper. I just had this like this old house kind of vision in my mind, right? And I would sit there and I would think about Chris and I going to open houses. And I would think about Chris and I seeing house after house. And I would think about Chris getting really discouraged. And I would feel the pressure of going to all these open houses and us not finding anything. And I could feel Chris getting discouraged, and I could feel myself starting to get discouraged. And then I would feel and see myself turning to Chris and saying, Chris, you watch. We are really good people, and we have the kind of luck that something magical is going to happen. We are going to find that needle in the haystack. I just know it. If we just keep going to open houses, if we just keep putting it out there that we're looking for an old farmhouse, a fixer-upper with a big porch on a nice piece of property, we will find it. What this kind of manifesting does, where you see yourself pushing through the resignation, you feel yourself believing, you feel yourself doing the work to find that needle in the haystack, to beat the odds, to have something magical happens, is that you start to believe that it's going to happen. Through manifesting, I literally convinced myself that we would, in fact, find a needle in a haystack, that I didn't even need to worry about all the houses that we couldn't afford that we were seeing. I didn't even need to worry about the number of places that we would look at that were out of our range. I didn't even have to worry about how long it was going to take, because I knew, because I was aligning myself with what I wanted through proper manifestation, that it would happen. I wasn't worried about the timeline. I just assumed that if we kept at it and we kept holding on for that needle in the haystack, amazing old farmhouse, that one day, somehow, magically, the stars would align, we would be in the right place, and we would be rewarded because we had done the work and we had held out hope and we had kept on going. And why do we do those things? Because I had been training myself, preparing myself to do all those things. And I'll tell you what happened. About a year into looking, in one of the nicest towns outside of Boston, Massachusetts, we got word that there was a ransack old farmhouse that may be coming on the market. So we drove out that weekend and we pulled up in front of the house. And I got to tell you, the grass at this house in the front yard was like waist high. Nobody had mowed this lawn in I don't know how many years. It looked like a field, for crying out loud, instead of a front lawn. The paint was all chipped. The house was this like ugly blue color. Most of the windows were broken. The only living beings inside the house were the family of raccoons who had taken up residence inside the chimney. The kitchen was so hideous, there was astroturf, indoor-outdoor grass, as the flooring in this house. Now, if I hadn't been manifesting, if I hadn't been training my mind, body, and spirit to see, feel, and believe that my husband and I would find this needle in a haystack, I would have turned to Chris the second we pulled up in front of this thing and said, "Are you kidding me? This dump? First of all, we won't be able to afford it. Secondly, this dump? What? Have we lost? It's not even on the market. Some developer is going to swoop in here in this neighborhood and pay 3 times what we can afford. There is no way we are going to get this." That's what would have happened if I hadn't been manifesting. Because the biggest obstacle to what you want is always your own self-doubt, your own excuses, your own fears, and your own stories. Because I had been manifesting what it looked like and felt like to align my body and spirit with getting what I want, I stayed open that this could be that needle in the haystack. We got out of the car. We met with the owner. It turns out the house wasn't on the market yet. The family was figuring out what to do because the man who had owned it had just died, incapacitated in a nursing home. None of the adult kids wanted the house. And what did they want for the house more than anything? This dilapidated old farmhouse that they had all grown up in? They wanted a young couple who was starting a family to raise their family in it. Well, the long and the short of it is that ugly old farmhouse with the broken windows and the raccoons inside and the indoor-outdoor grass turf for carpeting in the kitchen was that needle in the haystack. Chris and I bought it from the family before it ever came on the market. And we spent the first 2 years, honest to God, indoor camping inside of it. We didn't even have a kitchen. We had a Coleman 2-burner camping stove. We did most of the renovations ourselves, which meant bringing the knob and tube wiring up to code, slapping on a paint a coat, and bringing everything up to a point where it would be safe. And we have lived in this farmhouse and raised our family in it for the past 24 years. There is no way that I would have even gotten out of the car without having been manifesting for 8 months prior to finding that farmhouse with the big wrap porch on a great piece of property right outside of Boston. It was seeing it, feeling it in my mind, body, and spirit that made my mind believe that it was possible. And when you believe that something is possible, you will do the work and you will stay open to all of the amazing possibilities that come into your life to make it happen. And here we are almost 25 years later, sitting here filming in that very house. So there you have it. I promised you that this would be a video that would be perfect if you were brand new to manifesting, or if you've been manifesting for a while but it hasn't been working. I hope that now that you know the real definition and the real purpose of manifesting, when you manifest using science and you manifest as a way to train and prepare your mind, body, and spirit to do the work to help you get what you want. I hope you now feel empowered and inspired to stop wishing and hoping for the things that you want in life, and that you use manifesting to prepare yourself and inspire yourself to go take the action to make them a reality. Manifesting is a skill where you train your mind, body, and spirit to help you do the work to achieve your goals and dreams. That's it. Manifesting is a skill where you train your mind, body, and spirit to help you do the work to achieve your goals. And when you manifest correctly, this is another way that you can think about it, you are mentally and physically rehearsing for what you want in your life. Whether the thing that you want is a new habit, like making a mocktail instead of having a cocktail, or it's a habit of getting out of bed when the alarm rings, or it's a habit of being more present with your family, or it is the work required to launch a business or pay off your debt. Manifesting is mentally rehearsing for what you want, not to achieve it, okay? Not to achieve it. And this is going to be an important thing that we are going to talk a lot about, but to do the work to achieve it. Because here's the thing, everybody. I've already given you one of the things I deeply believe, which is profound personal and professional change starts with you, right? And the reason why you don't have the things that you want, the greatest reason, is because of your own resistance or the friction that you feel in your mind and body when you think about what you need to do to get it done. You see, thinking about what you want isn't enough. You're going to have to do the work to achieve it. And that's why this is so important. Done correctly, we're removing all of that angst and doubt and fear and anxiety that you feel when you think about it. And by rehearsing, and lowering the friction and preparing your mind to repeat this behavior, you're going to be set up to win. Manifesting is an incredibly important tool in your toolkit for a fulfilling and happy life. And most of us are doing it wrong. So, manifesting done properly is the process by which you train your mind, body, and spirit to help you get what you want. Manifesting is not based on the research, thinking about something and then it suddenly magically happens. And, since so many of your listeners are, people who are very, spiritual and faithful, I'm sure you've had an experience where you've prayed and prayed and prayed for something and it's not coming, it's not coming, it's not coming. You go through the worst experience or breakdown of your life. I bet jail and getting arrested was probably this for you. And then it's 10 years later that you look back and go, oh my God, my prayers were answered, just not in the manner in which I had been praying they would be answered. And so, what I want you to understand is that if you want to use manifesting, here's how you're going to do it. Don't think about the end. Don't think about the mansion you want to buy. Don't think about the soulmate that you're going to meet. Don't think about the finish line on the marathon, because thinking about the end doesn't help your mind, body, and spirit prepare you to do the work to get it. There are no, get out of jail free cards in life. There just aren't. You're going to have to put in the work to get the real results that you want. And so what you do when you manifest properly is you're going to visualize the bridge or the path in between where you are today and where you want to go. So, why don't you pick something that you want, Doug? What's a goal of yours for this year?
Oh, let's see. A goal of mine for this year is I want to get my podcast to a point where it's helping tens of thousands of people.
Okay. So you just said that I want to get my podcast to a point that it's helping tens of thousands of people. Now that you have identified what your goal is, let's back up to the present moment and let's do step 2. Step 2 is, now I want you to close your eyes and I want you to visualize what are all of the tedious, annoying, boring, hard things that you need to do that you're either not doing now or you need to do more of. Start to list them out.
Being more consistent on social media, engaging with other podcasters, just being consistent and practicing patience, getting more creative, and not being scared to invest money.
That's the big one.
Right.
That's the big one. So you just said that you needed to be more patient. You needed to stop being afraid to invest money. You needed to connect with more podcasters. You needed to be on social media more. Now, what you do, now that you have a list of all the things that you need to be doing that you're not doing or you're not doing enough of. And for a lot of people, they don't know. Okay, well, I don't know. I know what I want, but I don't know what the work is. Just find somebody on social media or out in the world who has the thing that you want, study what they did, and write all those things down as an action. But generally, there are videos you can watch, there are events you can go to, there are webinars that you can take, there are books that you can read. The information of what to do is out there. So, how do you use visualization now that you know what you want and you know some of the actions that you need to take that will take you in a path leading toward what you want? Well, now what you do is every single morning, you're going to add to your morning routine, writing down 5 things that you want. And one of those things is going to be, I want whatever it is that the goal is. In your case, it is, I want my podcast to reach tens of thousands of people, right? Then the why, why you want to do that. Why do you want to reach tens of thousands of people, Doug?
Because I feel that I have a strong message and I want people to use hard times to grow and make themselves better and not use it as an excuse to make their situation worse.
Okay, now let's make it about you. How do you feel when the stuff that you're putting out impacts people?
I feel amazing because it continues to reinforce that there was purpose in a lot of the pain that I went through when I was younger.
There's your why. You feel fulfilled turning the tremendous pain that you felt into a sense of purpose. And that purpose is acknowledged when you hear from people who listen to your podcast. That's your why. That's the intrinsic source of motivation for you. It's not about them. Anybody who wants to make a difference in the world, the reason why you're motivated to do that is because it feels so good for you. I'm dead serious about this, and there's nothing selfish about it. That's why it feels so good to volunteer. It's why it feels so good to give back, because you get something. You get affirmed as a human being that your time, your energy, your pain matters. And that's so important. So now that you feel that feeling inside your body of why you want this thing, because it makes you feel like you matter, it makes you come alive, whatever the reason is, now you're going to close your eyes. And you said the hardest thing for you is going to be to invest money in growing this podcast. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to describe for me an image of how much money and what you're actually investing in. Okay, so describe that scene for me. Put me at the scene.
So I'm investing in production. I'm investing in somebody to help me do some of the tedious tasks that I'm like staying up super super late. That's can be overwhelming at times because I still do have a training business. I'm investing in travel to network with other podcasters and meet different people at conferences.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm
and as you see the money going out the door, what are you feeling that's negative in your body?
It's uncertainty
Where do you feel it in your body?
in my legs.
You feel it in your legs? Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know why. I think it's because I hold a lot of stress in my hips, but
Well, it's a try that you know what that is, by the way, is that's your nervous system feeling uncertainty. That's where you feel it.
right.
This is how you manifest properly, by the way. Right here. You have to visualize in your mind writing the check and feeling the pain in your legs of uncertainty. You have to visualize in your mind sitting in that plane seat, flying to a conference, feeling the pit in your stomach, being worried about whether or not anyone's going to take you seriously because there's all these big podcasters there. You need to feel your chest contract and squeeze in as you walk up to somebody that you deeply admire and you start a conversation, or you walk up to an event organizer and say, I'd like to apply to be on a panel next year. How do I do that? And your chest gets really tight because you feel like you don't belong there because you don't have the numbers yet, or whatever your stupid story is. When you picture that in your mind and you feel the negative sensation in your body, you are doing resistance training. This is how you align your mind, body, and spirit to not resist the hard stuff. Here's a cool fact about your brain. Your brain doesn't know the difference between you actually spending the money, buying the plane ticket, getting on the plane and flying to that event, or you imagining it in your mind. And when you run through the hard things that you're avoiding in your mind and you allow yourself to feel the negative sensation in your body, you are training and mentally rehearsing the exact same way Olympic athletes do with the 9 sports psychologists that the U.S. Olympic team has to help our athletes prepare. You are mentally rehearsing before the actual event so that your mind and your body are trained to anticipate and push right on through all the stuff that's scary because you've already rehearsed it. That's how you use manifesting to help you do the work to get what you want.
Wow. I'm so grateful that we kind of brought that up and that you helped walk me through this.
What did you get out of that?
Well, I definitely, I became aware of not only what I need to do, but like what's the fear that's attached to it.
What is the fear?
Well, the fear is always going to be uncertainty or scarcity, because I think the one thing that's been beneficial to me in my life is that I've always had my back against the wall, from being somebody who was a convicted felon in jail, not growing up with a ton of money, that sort of thing, where I've always been forced to just hustle, 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 work, 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 where I'm used to this kind of situation. But on the flip side, the negative is I'm so used to being stressed because I grew up in a stressful environment. I put myself in a stressful environment from selling drugs and doing drugs for a majority of my life when I was younger, so that a lot of times now I've had to become aware of when I'm creating more stress around something that's a good thing, instead of something that I would have seen back in the day as something that was bad or whatever.
Can I unpack that?
Sure.
I'm going to teach you the 4 simple steps that you need to follow in order to manifest the right way, according to research and science. I'm so glad you're watching this. Manifesting is an incredible skill to develop in your life and to practice and build consistently as something that you do. My definition of manifesting is manifesting when you do it following the 4 steps you're about to learn according to research and science. What manifesting does is it trains your mind, your body, your spirit to align with what you want to achieve in life. Manifesting is a way to prepare or socialize your mind and your nervous system and your body to do the work that's necessary to getting what you want. And so the steps that I'm going to walk you through they're based in research, and what they're doing is they remove all of the obstacles that would normally stop you from taking action. Because just thinking about what you want isn't going to get it done. What ultimately creates results in your life are actions. And so manifesting is a way to train yourself to take the actions that will change your life, that will help you get what you want. Manifesting also removes self-doubt, resistance, excuses, imposter syndrome, all the things that would normally stop you from taking the actions. The 4 steps that you need to follow, really simple. Step number 1 is give yourself permission to dream with the lid off. This is really important. And the reason why this is important is because I guarantee you that right now you are not even allowing yourself to fully dream or think about or set goals that are truly aligned with what you deeply want in your heart. That you aren't even able to manifest properly because you're not even honest with yourself about what you actually want. This is a really common thing because you're allowing your self-doubt, you are allowing your fears, your anxiety, your insecurity, you're allowing where you are to dictate and limit where you want to go. And so step 1, super important. You must allow yourself, give yourself permission to start dreaming with the lid off. Now, the scientific reason why this is so important is because you have a filter in your brain called the reticular activity system. I write about the RAS for short, the reticular activity system, extensively in the High 5 Habit. The RAS is a filter in your mind, and you can do simple things that change the structure of that filter. In fact, the filter in your mind, the RAS, is always changing. So one thing that you can do in order to teach yourself how to dream with the lid off is to adopt a simple habit. Every single morning, I do a very simple thing. I write down 5 things that I want. That's it. When I start my day, after I get up when the alarm rings, I make my bed, I pull on my exercise clothes, I set an intention, I high-five myself in the mirror, I then go out into the kitchen, I crack open my high-five journal, and then inside the journal there are prompts that walk me through the steps of visualizing. And the first prompt is dream with the lid off. Set your spirit free. Write down 5 things every morning that you want. And this is important because when you get what you want out of your head and you physically put them on a piece of paper, research shows that you're 42% more likely to achieve those goals simply by writing them down. That's pretty cool. Secondly, your mind is paying attention. And when you take deliberate action and you write down what you want, you are signaling to your brain that you deserve to have these things. You are signaling to your brain that you do want those things. You're not just going to think about them. These are things that matter to you. And that helps train your mind to allow you to let the desires flow through you. Because right now, you're not manifesting properly because you're not even allowing yourself to dream with the lid off. So that's step number 1. You're going to start writing down 5 things that you want every single morning as a way to train your mind to let you dream freely. So a couple things about this little practice of writing down 5 things that you want every morning as a way to train your mind to allow you to dream again. First of all, you can write down the same 5 things every day. It's your list, your dreams. You get to do this how you want. The second thing that you could do is you could just write down different things every day. It doesn't matter because really what manifesting is manifesting is a way to train and prepare your mind, body, and spirit to help you. And if your mind is blocking you and your mind won't even allow you to fully want the things that you want, like, for example, maybe you want to be a New York Times bestselling author, but you won't even write that down because you don't think it's possible. If you won't even write it down because your self-doubt is stopping you, you're not dreaming with the lid off. And so this simple exercise, write down, I want to be a New York Times bestselling author. I want a house by the beach. I want to take my family to Disney World. I'd love to meet the love of my life. I'd like to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I want to open a wine bar. I'd love to get in the best shape of my life. I'd like to do a handstand this year in yoga. I'd like my dog to start barking at the neighbors. Whatever you want, it doesn't matter. You're just training yourself to dream. And that's step 1. Allow yourself to want what you want. Step number 2 for manifesting properly according to science is you must visualize the steps that lead you to the thing that you want, not the end goal. This is a major mistake that people make. They manifest improperly because all they do is focus on the end goal. If you've ever made a vision board, think about what you put on the vision board. You put up just the beach house or the $1 million in the bank, or you crossing the finish line, or you launching that business, or you having the body that you want, or you driving the Maserati, whatever it is. The end goal is what you put up on a vision board. That is not what you're going to do when you manifest. If you start focusing on crossing the finish line of the marathon, that is a one-way ticket to being unmotivated and completely discouraged. In fact, research shows that if all you do is focus on the thing that you want and you just focus on that vision of you and your bikini body, or you with the love of your life on your arms, or you at the Oscars winning that award, or the Grammys, what happens is because you've only focused on the end goal, you start to feel really unmotivated and discouraged because you're nowhere near it. That's where manifesting comes in, because we're not going to focus on the end goal. You got to pick something that you want in order to get started. But manifesting isn't about the end. It's about the bridge. It's about going from where you are here to where you want to go. Imagine that there is a bridge that connects where you are right here with what you dream about doing. Now, that dream could be to be a Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter. That dream might be to have a family of your own. That dream might be to have a beach house or a ski house, or to take a trip to Fiji. That dream can be whatever the hell you want it to be. But when it comes to manifesting, Once you've given yourself permission to dream with the lid off and really want what you want, to feel the pull of that thing, now we got to talk about the path that connects where you are with where you want to go. And this is all about visualizing the little steps. There's a lot of research that proves why visualizing the steps is the most important thing that you could do. There was a study done at UCLA, for example, where they were researching manifestation and the power of visualization, and they broke students into two groups. And they had Group A, we're going to call these the vision board group. They had Group A close their eyes, visualize in their mind, and feel in their body themselves taking the test and then walking up to a board where the test's scores were posted and finding their name and seeing an A+. That's what Group A, the vision board group, were told to do, to visualize themselves achieving what they wanted. Group B, we're going to call these the hard workers. These students were coached in this research project to close their eyes and to visualize going back to their dorm room, sitting down at the desk and studying and staying up late and putting in the work, studying and preparing for the tests. Now let me ask you a question. Which group do you think did better on the actual test? Was it Group A, the vision board group, who were taught to visualize and picture themselves walking up to a board and seeing the A+? Or was it Group B, the hard work group, the group that was taught to close their eyes and visualize and seeing themselves doing the work to study for the test? Well, if you answered Group A, you're wrong. If you answered Group B, you got the correct answer. The reason why Group B, the students who visualized studying for the test, got better test scores, is because when you visualize yourself doing the work, visualizing it leads you to doing the work. And it's only through actions that you will get the result that you want. Preparing your mind and visualizing yourself doing it lowers your resistance and leads to you taking the action. That's why manifesting works. You know, the same is true in sports. There's all kinds of research in sports psychology. In fact, our Olympic athletes for the U.S. Olympic team, they hire sports psychologists to train our top Olympic athletes, particularly after they've been injured, in visualizing themselves competing. When you coach an athlete to mentally rehearse every single detail about going through the competition, you are training the mind, body, and spirit to show up and dominate. This is particularly true for athletes after they've been injured and they're stepping back into competition. If you've been injured in competition, you're naturally going to feel anxious. You're naturally going to be nervous. Your brain and nervous system circuitry is now programmed with the intensity from that injury, the memory from the injury. So of course it's natural to bring that into your pre-competition feelings about it, right? So manifestation properly, remember what it is? Manifesting is preparing your mind, body, and spirit to do the work. It's aligning your mind, body, and spirit with what you want. It removes the obstacles that would normally stop you, which then prepares and motivates you to take the actions to succeed. So in the case of athletes who visualize themselves and see themselves doing all the steps over and over, they're removing the nerves. They're removing all the programming related to the injury. They are preparing their mind, body, and spirit to go in and frickin' dominate. And so are you, because that's step 2. You gotta see it. The third step is you're gonna feel in your body what it feels like to do the work. So let's go back to the research project at UCLA. Not only do I want you to close your eyes and picture yourself going back to the dorm room. Notice I'm closing my eyes. It's because manifesting is a habit for me. And when I manifest, I get in it, man. I close my eyes. I go into my mind. I am literally in my imagination there. And I not only can see myself doing the work, I can feel it. You can feel what it's like to walk into that dorm. You can feel what it's like to sit down. You can feel the heavy backpack hit the table. You can feel yourself crack open that book. You can feel yourself sitting at that desk and the desk light. And you can also even feel what it's like, can't you? As the sun starts to set and it gets darker outside and the light on your desk starts to get brighter and take things over, you can just put yourself right there. And the feeling is super important because, again, manifesting is mind, body, spirit. We got to get your nervous system involved. We've got to make you feel like you're at the scene. One of the reasons why feeling it is so important is because it magnifies the imagery in your mind. And when your mind rehearses something, here's what's cool about your brain. Your brain doesn't know the difference between you studying for that test or you doing the work to start that business or get healthy or put yourself back out there or heal your trauma or save the money to get that house that you want or whatever it is that you're visualizing. Your brain doesn't know the difference between you visualizing those things and you actually doing them. In your mind, it's the same. So it's almost like a training run for a marathon. You are building a muscle that helps you win when you take the actions. It's so cool. And so you not only want to feel what it's like to study for that test, put yourself at the scene. You also want to feel a sense of pride that you're doing the work. And the pride piece is really important because the pride piece acts almost like a booster. It amplifies the memory imprint. When you bring this, wow, there I am, I'm doing the work, I'm proud of myself, I'm staying in, I'm putting in the extra work. Somebody said no and I kept on going. I didn't stop when the first venture capital firm said they wouldn't invest. There I am investing again. When you feel this sense of pride in yourself, it supersizes the imprint and the rehearsing. And so it's a super important part of the feeling. Not only feel the steps, feel the pride that you're doing it. This is so important that I want to give you yet another example. Let's say that your bucket list, something on your bucket list is to run a marathon. For me, it was on my bucket list when I was a young mom to run the New York City Marathon. Now, what's interesting is I applied, I got a number, and when I won this number out of a lottery system with the New York City Marathon, I was a brand new mom. I was totally out of shape. I was not at all in any kind of a place to run the New York City Marathon. Now, here's the thing. I used visualization to help me lower my fear and my excuses. Because when I got the number, I did not have a lot of time. If I had been a person who was not visualizing, I probably would have said, I don't have enough time to train. I'm not ready. I can't do this. All the excuses would have come in. But instead, I used visualization. Now, how do you use visualization for, say, a marathon? You do not want to visualize crossing the finish line. That is how you visualize incorrectly. Luckily, I knew how to visualize at this moment in my life. You need to visualize yourself going from 0 to preparing to run that race. So what does that mean? That means you need to visualize, oh, there I am. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I don't feel like getting up, but I'm getting up and I'm putting on my sneakers and it's dark out and I don't feel like going for a run, but there I am going out the door alone in the cold. Wow, I am going for, I'm pretty proud of myself because I'm training. Oh, here's another thing you could visualize. I'm on a training run, it's mile 7 and it starts to rain and I keep going. Wow, I'm wet and I'm still running. I'm proud of myself because I'm out there training. It's mile 11 and my earbuds just lost battery. I don't have any more music. I got 5 more miles to go. I'm out here for almost another hour. And I continue going. And I continue going. And I see myself completing that 16-mile training run. And I allow myself to not only feel what it feels like to push through that moment when those earbuds run out of battery, but I also feel proud of myself for pushing through. That's how you prepare yourself for the thing that you need to do, because it removes the obstacles that would stop you from pushing through at mile 11 when your earbuds run out, because you've already rehearsed the moment in your mind. And then finally, step 4, and this is where a lot of people, not naming names, but this one is like really important. You need to do the work, okay? You got to do the work, because it's only through your actions that you will accomplish what you want. Let's say that you've always wanted to climb a particular mountain, okay? There's a mountain called Haystack. It's not even that tall, so I should probably pick a bbigger one, but let's just call it Haystack Mountain. You've always wanted to climb Haystack Mountain. You pull up to Haystack Mountain, and you get out of the car, you park at the, National Forest parking lot, and you make the mistake of looking up at the mountain, which is the end goal, right? And you notice it's up in the clouds. And then you start to think, oh my God, that's a really far way away. I don't really know how I feel about doing this anymore, because that looks like it's going to take a really long time. And then all of a sudden it starts to rain. And you go, I don't think I want to do this, because I don't think I feel like doing this. And next thing you know, you are back in the car, driving back down the road to that little diner that you saw. And instead of climbing the mountain that you've always dreamt of climbing, you've now come up with an excuse, and you have abandoned ship. You now have literally become your own obstacle. You talked yourself out of it. You started to doubt yourself. You told yourself you weren't ready and that you didn't feel like it. You pull the ripcord, you're out of there. In order to have what you want in life, you must stop staring at the top of that mountain. You must stop creating excuses for why you can't or don't feel like it. And you must put your head down and look at the first step in front of you. And then you must take the action and start walking toward what you want. And it'll be a hell of a lot easier for you to do that if you have also been putting in the time every day consistently to not only see yourself walking up that trail step by step, but that you have felt yourself pushing through the resistance, the fear, the obstacles, the excuses that are stopping you now. And feel proud in every fiber of your being as you push through those obstacles and see yourself and feel yourself doing the work. That's how you manifest properly. And if you do that before you pull into the national park parking lot, if you look up at that mountain and you see clouds and it starts raining, it won't matter, because you've already rehearsed this moment in your mind, body, and spirit. And you, my friend, will start walking up that trail. And you're going to be proud. I'm about to explain to you the 7 most common mistakes that people make when they first start manifesting. Or hell, they make these mistakes when they've been manifesting for years, and these 7 mistakes explain why the manifesting's not working. So you're going to save yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of time by knowing these mistakes and avoiding them like the plague. Before I tell you the 7 mistakes, let me just remind you of what manifesting is. If you're brand new to manifesting and you have not seen the video that I did that is basically what the hell is manifesting, it's explaining it for beginners, you might want to check that out. It's also on our YouTube channel here. But so my definition of manifesting is based on research and science. Manifesting is preparing your mind, body, and spirit to help you get what you want. Basically, what you're doing is you are using manifesting to remove the obstacles that stand in the way of you doing the work to get what you want. Manifesting done right removes self-doubt, it removes fear, it removes the excuses and the stories that would normally stop you, because when you do manifesting properly, you literally make your mind, body, and spirit believe that it's a foregone conclusion. And that makes you motivated, inspired to take the actions that will get you what you want. So now that you are grounded in the real definition of manifesting, let's flag the 7 major mistakes that people make so you can avoid them. Mistake number 1 when it comes to manifesting is you're not doing it daily. The lack of consistency is what's killing your ability to use manifesting to achieve your goals and dreams. So what do I mean by that? Well, manifesting is a skill. I want you to think of manifesting as a muscle. It's a muscle that you build through consistency. And, if you think about it as a skill or a muscle or a new habit, obviously you got to incorporate it into your day-to-day life. It's just like anything else. A one-off change does not make a lasting change. If you wanted to get healthier, eating one salad is not going to make you healthier. Exercising once, not going to make you healthier. Manifesting once, not going to actually help you get what you want. You must incorporate manifesting into your day-to-day life. The more consistently you do it, the more manifesting becomes a habit, it becomes a way of thinking, it becomes a way of acting, and it becomes a skill that you can rely on to help you get absolutely anything. Now, what's the easiest way to manifest consistently and make it part of your day-to-day life? I'm glad you asked. The best way to do it is make it part of your morning routine. Every single morning, right after I get up, make my bed, throw on my exercise clothes, set an intention, high five the mirror, I do something really interesting. I call it dreaming in the morning. I write down 5 things that I want. And the reason why I write down 5 things that I want is because it is a way to train my mind to focus on the things that I desire and dream about, to aim my mind at the things that I want in my life. Then what I do is I use manifesting properly to see myself taking the actions to get one of the things, to feel myself taking the actions to get one of those things. And notice, I'm closing my eyes. And that's because manifesting is a habit in my life. I close my eyes to really feel myself taking the actions. And when you manifest over and over and over again, your mind, in visualizing and feeling yourself taking those actions, begins to believe that it's happening. And that will make you confident, optimistic. It'll inspire you to take action. It will remove obstacles. It'll make it easier for you to do the work. Now, that's how you do it. That's how I've made it part of my day-to-day life. I write down 5 things. I then manifest on at least one of those things. And then here's the most important part. I then take an action that's inspired by the manifesting. Now, to help you incorporate this into your day-to-day life, I got something to give you. And don't worry, you don't need to buy anything. I have written and created the High Five Journal. It goes with my best-selling book, The High Five Habit. It's not only gorgeous, and you're going to love it, but the prompts in the journal, it's a daily journaling practice that you use. Write down 5 things that you want, big or small, today or in your lifetime. Now describe the small action you can take to inch yourself forward. Now close your eyes. Visualize taking these small actions. Feel deeply what it feels like to do these things as you move closer to what you desire. This is training your mind, body, and spirit to help you take these actions. This is a journal based on research and science that helps you make manifesting a skill that you practice every day. You want to get consistent? Start using the High Five Journal. Now, you can grab a copy of one of these things if you want it, but I still got you covered because I know there are parts of the world where you can't buy this yet. I also know that you might not have the money to be able to buy it. That's cool. If you go to highfivejournal.com, you can download free templates. Don't even need to buy the journal. If you want one, get one. But you can utilize the free templates at highfivejournal.com. You can read about the science. That will help you get started with making manifesting consistent, which will help build manifesting as a muscle and a skill that you rely on every single day of your life to help you get what you want. Cool, right? Good. Now let's move on to mistake number 2. Now, mistake number 2 is a major mistake that people make, and that is that you frame manifesting based on what you don't want. Now, this is subtle, but it's really important that you avoid this mistake. So this is the kind of mistake that you make when you're really frustrated and you start to go, I just don't want to be alone anymore. I just don't want to date losers anymore. I just don't want to be struggling anymore. I just don't want life to be so hard anymore. I just don't want to be single anymore. I just don't want to be poor anymore. I just don't want to have anxiety and feel so bad anymore. Do you see how framing all your dreams and goals around what you don't want might be a problem? I mean, when I say I don't want to feel anxious anymore, how the hell am I going to visualize not being anxious? That's why this is a major mistake. You want to always frame what you want and what you're going to use manifesting to help you take the actions to go get it. You always want to frame it in the positive, frame it around the thing that you want. So in the case of anxiety, don't talk about not feeling anxious. Frame what you want. I can't wait to have a calm, quiet, confident state of mind. That feels different, doesn't it? I can't wait to be in a loving, supportive, caring, mutual, positive relationship with an adult, somebody that acts like an adult and treats me the way I deserve to be treated. Feels very different than, I just don't want to date losers anymore. You want to always frame the things that you're trying to manifest and the actions that you need to take as leading you towards something rather than away from something. That way, we stop thinking and aligning energy around the negative crap that's not working, and we align your mind, body, and spirit around what it feels like to have the positive things that you want. That's going to make it easier for you to take the actions that will make them happen. Now, mistake number 3, super easy to make. You get really impatient. You start off strong, right? This is true with all changes. You start off strong, you manifest every morning for 3 or 4 days, and then boom. You don't do it for 5 or 6 weeks. You start throwing your hands, that's it, it's never going to happen. So you're not only not consistent, but you start to get impatient, and because you're impatient, you're not consistent. I need you to understand something. For manifesting to work properly, based on research, there is no timeline involved. Did you hear me? For manifesting to work properly, based on the research, there is no timeline involved. You must give up the when, and you must focus on seeing and feeling yourself taking the steps that make the thing that you want happen. Because manifesting is not magically making something appear. Manifesting is preparing your mind, body, and spirit to do the work to make something happen. It's aligning your thoughts, your actions, and how you feel in your body with the thing that you want. And the reason why manifesting is important is because when you prepare yourself to do the work and to start to see and feel it, you will believe that it's a foregone conclusion. You will believe that at some point it will happen. And you will believe that you can make it happen. And that belief is why you feel inspired and encouraged to take action. You see, when you suspend the timeline and you get rid of deadlines, there is no room for being impatient. Because you in your heart and your soul and in your mind know that at some point, if you just keep on manifesting and you keep on seeing yourself and feeling yourself doing the steps that you need in order to make this a reality, eventually it'll happen. So if you feel impatient, you're doing it wrong because you're not supposed to attach a timeline to it. You're supposed to wake up every morning and write down 5 things that you want and let yourself see and feel yourself doing the work, and that will inspire you to take the actions that lead you there. And if you do that every day, trust me, you won't even be thinking about the timeline because you know in your heart and soul, eventually this is going to turn out. Now, mistake number 4, and this is probably the biggest mistake that everybody makes. And if you've been manifesting for a long time and nothing's turning out, this is probably the mistake that you're making. If you're brand new to manifesting, this is the mistake everybody that's new makes, unless somebody tells them not to do this. The biggest mistake with manifesting is that you're only looking at the end goal. That's the biggest mistake everybody makes. We've all been sold this bill of goods, not only that if you think good things, somehow it's going to happen. That's only true that you can think good things and have good things happen if you do the work to make those good things happen. The thinking's just the first part. You got to actually take the actions that are inspired by the thinking. And the second thing that people do in terms of being sold a bill of goods is that you kind of have been led to believe that if you create a vision board and you plaster up on the vision board images of beach houses and Lamborghinis and NFTs and millions of dollars in the bank and the world's skinniest body and all the things that you would love to have magically appear in your life, that simply creating the vision is enough. The reason why that's a mistake is because research shows that simply envisioning the end goal without actually imagining all the steps that lead you there and without training your body to feel what it's going to feel like to do the hard work, simply imagining the end goal isn't motivating at all. It's pretty inspiring for about a day. But then what happens is that you start to stare at the beach house and the $1 million in the bank, and you will feel discouraged because you'll realize, holy cow, from where I sit, there's an impossible gap between my studio apartment or living in my parents' basement and the beach house that I want. There's an impossible gap between the fact that my divorce basically left me bankrupt and now I'm staring at a vision board with $1 million in the bank. Holy cow, I've got 150 pounds to lose and I'm going to stare at my photo from when I was my, best weight, when I was a high school Division I athlete? No. Staring at the end goal is not only a mistake, it's profoundly discouraging. It's the reason why so many people fail to reach their goals, because they only set their goals and they never do the part that's the most important, and that's where manifesting comes in. Manifesting helps you do the work. Manifesting done properly is preparing you to do all the things between where you are and where you want to get to. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that up on your vision board, okay? Up on your vision board is the fact that you want to launch your own business. Right now, you work for somebody else, you can't stand what you do, you have panic attacks when you wake up because you know that you're headed in the wrong direction, you've always dreamt of opening a bakery, and so you slap up a vision board and you've got this big visual up on your wall that you stare at every morning of this beautiful bakery that you've always dreamt of starting. Here's the problem. You have no money, you have no savings, you've never started a business before. How the hell are you going to get this done? Staring at the vision board gives you panic attacks. Here's how manifesting is going to help. Manifesting is where instead of staring at the photos of the bakery, you see, feel, and eventually start to believe that you can do the work to make it a reality. And so what you're going to manifest is you're going to manifest all the steps from point A, which is starting at 0, all the way to point Z, which is opening the doors. You're going to see yourself. And notice I'm closing my eyes. This is because manifesting is a habit. Manifesting happens here in your mind and in your heart and your body. I want you to see yourself. Instead of going out tonight with your friends, see yourself staying in and watching videos. Videos on YouTube of other people that have opened bakeries. See yourself going to the library and getting a book that tells the story of somebody who did it. See yourself taking webinars and tutorials about how to raise the money to do something like this. See yourself studying Kickstarter campaigns of other people who have launched a bakery and raised money through Kickstarter campaigns. See yourself talking to people who have done this. See yourself talking to friends and family. See yourself taking a class in it. See yourself staying in next weekend and working on this. See yourself getting a part-time job in a bakery and learning behind the scenes because you've always dreamt of doing this, but you've never worked in one. And one vision at a time, as you feel yourself being tired, as you feel the late nights, as you feel yourself doing the work with no timeline, you'll start to believe that you're going to do it. And that will keep you inspired to take those little actions to do it. And that way, when you come in after a long day and you've spent the day watching a webinar or watching a YouTube video, or you had a conversation with somebody that gave you some advice, when you walk into your room and you see that beautiful vision board, you know what's going to happen? Your mind and your body and spirit will literally start to buzz, because what you've been rehearsing in your mind, body, and spirit through visualization aligns with it. That's how you do it. Simply envisioning the end game, that's a one-way ticket to being discouraged, unmotivated, and stuck. You start to use manifesting properly. You start to visualize every single step of the way, and you will be training for it and doing the work to make it happen. And that is motivating. Mistake number 5 is thinking you have to have all the answers. And that'll get you really stuck. That what you really want to manifest into your life is an incredible relationship, right? But you don't even know where to begin because your dating history looks like a train wreck. Here's the simple solution. Just become a student. Become a student of whatever it is that you want. What does a student do? A student learns, a student studies, a student researches. Researching, studying, and learning about what you want is a simple way to find all of the things that you can start manifesting. Seriously. Anything that a student would be doing. Taking a class, researching, talking about a subject, interviewing people about a subject, watching videos about a subject. All of those things that a student does are things that I want you to visualize, see yourself, and feel yourself doing. That's a simple hack to figuring out the path between where you are and where you want to go. Another thing that a student does is a student studies people who have already done it. And then you reverse engineer the path. And you see yourself doing the things that somebody else did to get what you want. Now, here's what's super cool. Remember, manifesting based on science means training your mind, body, and spirit to do the work that gets you what you want. Your path will not be the same as somebody else's. That's okay. You can still see yourself walking down somebody else's path. You can still feel what it feels like to do that hard work, because manifesting works because it's going to remove the obstacles that you create, your excuses, your self-doubt, all of the stories you tell yourself, your fear, your imposter syndrome. You're rehearsing the steps in your mind because remember, your brain doesn't know the difference between you actually taking the steps or you just visualizing yourself taking the steps. When you visualize yourself taking the steps, you are training your mind, body, and spirit to not resist taking those actions. That's why this is going to work for you. Even though, let's say you love The Rock's career. You're not going to have the same career as The Rock, but you can certainly visualize all the things that he did in order to train yourself to do the work that will get you what you want. Now, mistake number 6 is going to be obvious based on mistake number 4 and number 5. You're not taking any actions. Look, you can't just feel it in your body. You can't just see it in your mind. The whole reason why you're rehearsing this and training your body to do the steps is so you freaking take the steps, okay? At some point, you got to leave your brain and your body and you got to take action in the world. You got to let the manifesting, the training and preparing that you're doing by seeing it and feeling it and teaching you to believe that it's possible, you got to let that shit inspire you to take action. Now, I want to give you a tool. Remember in the beginning, I showed you the High 5 Daily Journal. I also told you you can get free templates at high5journal.com. Now, this thing's gorgeous. I love it. The templates I don't think are color, so that's one thing, but they are free. But if you pick up a copy of this or you use the templates, this journal is prompting you every day to take action. This journal is going to prompt you to write down 5 things that you want. This is going to get you to start giving yourself permission to have what you want in your life. Then this journal is going to prompt you to think like a student. What are some steps that you can take in order to move toward what you want? It's going to get you thinking about things to do so that you are taking action. Then it's going to prompt you to properly manifest doing those things, and then it's going to tell you to do it. And so if you really want a kick in the pants, or if you want to have your hand held, or you want a tool because you are committed to making manifesting a skill that is part of your day-to-day life, this journal, the High Five Journal, is the only journal based in science that will train you and your mind, body, and spirit to make manifesting part of your morning routine and a skill that you master and put to use in your life every single day. And again, you can get those templates at highfivejournal.com, and you can get a copy of this anywhere online. Just Google it. The final mistake is also a really big one. And that mistake is you're not celebrating the small wins. So as you make manifesting a skill, as you get consistent about it, as you start to be a student, as you take inspired action, as you realize that you do feel like this is going to happen. You don't even have a timeline on it because you know it's going to happen. You're not, as you're doing these things, recognizing all the small wins that you have. Every day when you manifest and then you take the action that the manifesting has inspired, that's a win. When you see doors opening up because you've been moving toward what you want, that's a win. When you randomly meet somebody that introduces you to somebody that helps you get one step closer, that's a win. And you need to celebrate that stuff. These are signs. These are not coincidences. These are signs that you're on the right path. A lot of people believe in angel signs, like seeing the number 11 or 22 or the number 9, or for me, the number 5. Angel signs are cool because for me, angel signs are a mile marker that give you a clue that you're moving in the right direction. Your job is to declare what you want. Your job is to use manifesting to train your mind, body, and spirit and remove the obstacles that you would normally put in place. Your job is to take the actions that are inspired by manifesting and start moving toward what you want. You also, though, need to call out those mile markers when you see it. Holy shit, I just got introduced to somebody in the movie business, and it's my dream, and I'm manifesting that I have my script turned into a movie. This is a sign that I'm on the right path. And what you want to do is call those things out, not because the universe or magic or this is somehow just randomly happening. This is you being rewarded for manifesting properly, for believing in yourself, and for taking the inspired action that is going to make your dreams a reality. And these little moments, these signs, these small wins that are happening every day as you make manifesting a consistent skill that you practice in the morning, that you put to use so that you are aligned with what you want, so that your mind, body, and spirit is working with you instead of against you. When you start to also call out the small wins, there I am manifesting. There, this thing happened. This is happening too. There are my angel numbers. Holy cow, this just happened. You're now building momentum. You're now energetically rewarding your body for aligning with what you want. And it just makes all of this that much stronger. It makes your belief stronger. It makes your courage bigger. It makes your confidence stronger. That's how all of this builds one on the other. And if you're not willing to call out the small wins, you're missing a huge amount of mojo and rocket fuel and magic that you can add into the mix, because all of these small wins are literally reasons for you to be more confident, reasons for you to keep going, reasons for you to really know in your mind, body, and spirit that, yeah, this is going to happen because you're making it happen. Now that you know the 7 mistakes to avoid, you want to definitely check out and dig into the science of manifesting the right way. And that's what I want to dig in with you next. Can I give you some coaching real quick? Can I give you some coaching? Okay, you ready? This is a super cool trick, everybody. You're about to see me change her. Okay, here we go. Tell you what we're going to do. All right, so 0 to 10, how nervous are you right now?
I'm thinking like 11.
Okay, great. Can you describe what's happening in your body?
I'm warm. I'm getting sweaty.
Awesome. Are your pits starting to sweat now? Okay, yeah, she's getting warm under here, everybody. Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Okay, they're perfect. Just like keep moving them like you're dancing. Okay, great. What else is happening as you're an 11?
I can't stop smiling.
Okay, okay. Terrific. So like the anxiety and the nerves are through the roof.
No.
No.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, see, she doesn't even know where she is. All right, great. So let's make it worse. Let's go on stage.
Okay.
Everybody give her a round of applause. Okay, here we go. Okay, come here. Okay. All right, 0 to 10. How nervous are you? Did it go higher?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, going higher, everybody. Do you have a neck rash yet? It's getting there. Yeah, I used to get that all the time. Yep. Okay, so I want you to just kind of look out and look at everybody. How many? Yeah. Great, great. Okay, so I'm going to teach you something really cool. You ready? Yeah. Your body doesn't know the difference, everybody, between nervousness and excitement. Okay. So tell me, who's your favorite band?
Nirvana.
Okay, so let's say, well, I realize Kurt Cobain isn't here, but if he were, and if they were playing, and you had a front row seat, how excited would you be?
Oh, God, I'd be so excited. I'd be crying.
Yeah, and would you have a neck rash?
I don't know. Actually, I'd be sweating.
You'd be sweating? Yeah? Yep. Would your heart be racing?
Yeah.
Are those all the things that are happening right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so your body, everybody, has the same physiological response to nerves and excitement. Exact same. The only difference between you being able to see Nirvana and you standing here looking out at everybody else and you're the one on stage is what your brain is saying about it. So I'm going to teach you a really cool trick.
Okay.
So the next time you're nervous, just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm so excited, and then say whatever you're doing. So start going, I'm so excited to be up here.
I'm so excited to be up here.
Say it again.
I'm so excited to be up here.
Say it again.
I'm so excited to be up here.
Say it again.
I'm excited to be up here.
Yeah, that's right. Let's walk. Say it again.
I'm so excited to be up here. I'm so excited to see everyone here.
Okay. So 0 to 10. How do you feel?
I feel great.
Right? It goes down, right?
Yeah.
So fear builds when you let it sit. It actually lowers the moment you move. And that's a little trick, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm so excited, that has been now researched at Harvard Medical School. And when you use it before an exam, you use it before like any competition, you use it before a speech, you use it before a big pitch, anything. I'm so excited to go in there. I'm so excited I've worked so hard. I'm so excited I prepared for this. I'm so excited because regardless of what happens, I'm not going to die, right? And so if you say that, you take control of what's going on in your brain and your body pays attention, and you just look at how different she looks. Literally, she is calm. She's not freaking out. Like you are literally, you're doing the next keynote. I'm out. All right, so how do you feel?
I feel good.
Okay, great. So what was your question?
Okay, so I have big dreams, and
Yeah.
sometimes they just feel like they're not quite out of reach, but they are. So I have a hard time. Like my dream is to be a cougar.
A who?
A cougar.
Wait, a what?
A cougar.
A cougar. Okay.
With lots of hot men around me in
Okay.
the beach, like.
Okay.
But that's like later.
Okay.
I got some years.
I have that feels like it's within reach. I don't know, right? Okay.
But so that's just for later. I'm talking about like career-wise.
Yeah.
It just seems like I'm stopping myself, or I'm so busy. I have 2 full-time jobs right now. Like I'm always on the run and on the go. I just don't know what I can do to get myself to do these other things, or what way to go.
Okay, so let's bring this. So now I'm going to coach you, and we're going to make it less kind of up in the sky and ground it in reality. What is the thing that you want to go pursue?
I just want to be the best I can be, like, I want my own business. I want
Great.
to be independent.
Great, so
I
you would
wanna
like
move
your own
out of my
business.
state, yes.
Okay, great. So let's start. So what do you want to do first? We're going to take them one at a time. Do you want to move out of your state first, or do you want to have your own business?
I think I want to move out of state first.
Okay, terrific. So I'm going to teach you guys how to use manifesting and goal setting properly, okay? Because so it's critical, everybody, to have huge dreams. And so I want you to turn to the person next to you and tell them what is something that you dream about doing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So for me, I dream about launching a podcast, like a big podcast. Like,
I thought you said rockets, and
no,
I was like,
no. Step aside, Joe Rogan. Mel Robbins coming through. All right, great. All right, great. I'm just giving you a second. So even if you didn't have a chance, all right, come on back. All right, even if you didn't have a chance to say it, I know you thought it. And so here's the difference between dreams and goals. Dreams are the beacon, right? It's the lighthouse. Goals are the brick by brick path that walk you toward it. Okay, you need big dreams because they pull you out of the stress of your day-to-day life, they raise your gaze, and they remind you of where you're headed. And if you don't know where you want to head, there's a simple trick that can help you figure it out. Number one, ask yourself, well, what do I not want? And move in the opposite direction. Number two, who am I jealous of? Jealousy is blocked desire. You are jealous of people because you think you can't have the thing that you feel called to have. And so if you are jealous of somebody, it means inside of what they're doing or how they're being, there's something that is meant for you. Like, you can't be jealous of something you don't want. I'm not jealous of anybody that has a penthouse, for example, in Abu Dhabi. I don't want to live there right now. Don't even feel anything when I think about it. It's not meant for me. But when you think about the things that you want, that is a really clear directional signal from your soul that you are not giving yourself permission to move toward those things. So jealousy is just blocked desire. So you know you want to, that's the dream. And so what I want you to do is I want you to tell me what are 2 things that somebody who's preparing to move out of state is doing in their day-to-day life.
saving money.
Okay. And I guess by the expression on your face, you're not that great at that.
Well, I was, and then I came here.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. Guess what? This is going to be money well spent. You invested in yourself, okay? And you know how to save money. And so by being on this stage, you got plucked up here because it's time to get serious about this goal. Mm-hmm. And so, couple things. Here's how you're going to use science to train your body to help you lay those bricks towards moving. You are not going to envision moving to the new state. You are not going to envision your new apartment. You are going to envision the annoying, pain in the ass stuff you don't want to do in order to have that thing come true. So you will envision yourself not going out with friends on the weekend because you're saving money. You will envision yourself only putting things in the Amazon cart, but not actually purchasing them, right? You will envision yourself opening up bills and noticing, oh, great, like I'm slowly like saving what is one thing that you hate doing that you know you need to do?
Changing my litter box.
Oh, okay, that was not the one I was expecting. Related to money and saving money. Related to money and saving money.
Saving it. I've put whole paychecks in my savings account and it just hurts me a little bit.
Great. I want you to visualize and feel that it hurts. I want you to visualize that next paycheck going into saving and feel the like, and then I want you to say to yourself, I'm really proud of myself for doing that because that's going to help me go. Mm-hmm. And so for those of you, for example, that want to get in better shape, visualize walking in the rain because that sucks. And what happens when you visualize it and you feel it is you're training your body to expect that, which makes it more likely that you will take that paycheck and put it in savings, or you will keep walking as the rain comes because you've already mentally rehearsed this moment in your mind. This is the way that a team of 9 psychologists
are training our Olympic athletes in the United States. This has deep research with it. So stop thinking about the state and start thinking about all the annoying little stuff you got to do right now, and you will be there before you know it. You got it?
Yes.
Good.
Oh my gosh.
Go do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. And what we're going to talk a lot about today is we're going to talk about this principle that I believe. And the principle is this: profound personal and professional change starts with you. That's right. Profound personal and professional change starts with you. And change starts with you because the most effective change starts from the inside out. Okay? And so as you think about a behavior change or a thinking pattern change that you want to make, or some sort of goal or dream, I want you to take everything that I'm about to teach you and have that example in mind, okay? So that everything that I'm talking about isn't just stuff I'm doing in my life, isn't just stuff that you read about when you look at the research in terms of habits and manifesting, but that you actually walk away with takeaway that is specific to what you want to achieve, okay? So good. So you've dreamed with the lid off. You've written it into the comments. Now, let's start by letting me give you a hack. I'm going to share with you something that I'm working on right now, okay? So one of the things that I want to do is I want to drink less in my life. I have a habit, and I've had a habit for decades, of around 6 o'clock when I start cooking dinner, I typically will pour myself a drink. It's something that I enjoy. It's something that I do as a ritual to kind of end the workday and ease into being, in the more personal part of my life. And as I've gotten older, as I've started to understand more about my health, I thought, I actually don't want to be doing that every night. And so I would make this sort of promise to myself that I wouldn't have a drink, and then 6:30 would roll around, and next thing you know, I am mindlessly walking over to the cabinet where the gin is, and I'm making a gin and tonic. And it's not that I feel that I have a problem. It's that I was having a problem getting a new habit to stick. And so here is one hack that is based in science that is going to help you make any new habit stick. And yes, this is relating to manifesting. But what is this little hack? Well, this little hack is something that taps into what's called your procedural memory, okay? And let me tell you how you use the hack. So with that thing, that behavior change, I saw some of you writing down that you want to make more money, you want to stop procrastinating, you want health goals. Here is a hack that you can use using your procedural memory to make a new habit stick. All you have to do is you need to close your eyes and picture yourself step by step by step, practicing the new behavior or thinking pattern. So in my case, this is what it looks like. I close my eyes and I think, okay, I'm in the kitchen. I turn to my left and I can see the red clock and I visualize it saying 6:30. I feel the pull of the cabinet where the gin is, but I picture myself walking over to where the glasses are instead. And then I take a glass and then I picture myself walking over to the fridge, and then I open up the fridge, and then I reach for the kombucha, and then I pull it out, and I grab a lime, and then I grab a soda water, I shut the fridge, and then I pour a kombucha, I pour a little soda water, I take the peeler, I peel the lime, so I get that neat little lime strip, and I see it twisting, and I see the little kind of, like when you twist citrus, it sort of like sprays that little stuff. And then I drop it into the glass and I see myself picking it up and I see myself sipping my mocktail. I don't even want the gin. This tastes delicious. You want to know something fascinating? Research that has been peer-reviewed shows that simply going through that procedure of the new habit or thinking pattern, step by step by step, by going step by step by step, you are locking in a new sequence in your procedural memory. And based on research, that one time that you do it makes it way more likely that when 6:30 rolls around, you are not going to drink the gin. You are going to make the mocktail. Now, why does this work? Well, the reason why this works is because you're using science to rehearse the new behavior or the new situation or the new thinking pattern and to encode it in your brain before you actually do it. And when you use your procedural memory to rehearse something that you want to have become a new habit or a new way of acting in your life, you're basically putting it in your long-term memory. Now, what is your procedural memory? Well, your procedural memory is the part of your brain that has stored all the motor skills, like writing, like picking up a glass and drinking, like walking. It is all stored in your procedural memory. The reason why you and I can walk without thinking about it, or talk, or skip, or brush our teeth is because we have rehearsed that sequence, that procedure, that series of events over and over and over again. And now it's locked into my brain, into my procedural memory. Now, here's what's really cool, everybody. Your brain doesn't know the difference between an event that you have closed your eyes and imagined and an event that you've actually done. And what's happening in your brain when I visualize myself making that mocktail step by step by step by step is I am making connections between the gaps at the end of the neurons in my body, the synapses, and every time I either imagine that sequence of events or I practice it, we're making that connection between neurons stronger and stronger and stronger. And so here's what's really cool. What I just told you is manifesting. Seriously. Manifesting done correctly is when you use your procedural memory as a tool to train your brain, your nervous system, your spirit, to help you feel motivated and to help you do the work that actually changes your life. How cool is that? I want to be very clear about something. You know, manifesting gets a bad rap because of the law of attraction. But manifesting is not woo-woo at all. It's not a cheesy topic. Manifesting is not just think about something that you want and suddenly it'll magically appear. No, 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 no. Manifesting is when you use your procedural memory and you visualize the step by step by step actions that you need to take in order to make your big goal or the thing that you want or the new habit to become a reality. You see, manifesting isn't the end, everybody. Manifesting is the bridge. It's the series of actions that you're going to take in order to have this new habit. And when you rehearse something and when you encode it in your procedural memory, what actually happens is because it's now something that your brain recognizes, the walking to the other cabinet, not where the gin is, the opening up the fridge and grabbing the kombucha instead of grabbing the gin in the cabinet. When you rehearse this over and over, you are lowering the limbic friction, the friction in your mind, the resistance that you feel. You are lowering that resistance. And that is how manifesting helps you achieve your goals.
I 1,000% believe in manifesting, but a lot of us are doing manifesting wrong, where you create a vision board about the big vision. Mm-hmm. And what research shows is that simply having the beach house or the marathon finish line on your vision board is actually demotivating. Because what starts to happen for people is you
see the thing that you want and you start to feel further and further and further away from it. And so, yes, you should have big dreams. And yes, you should write them down every day. And yes, you should do that because you have a filter in your brain that I'm teaching you to use and to program that will change in real time based on what you tell it is important. But the most important part of manifesting is activating something in your brain called the Zeigarnik effect or the Zeigarnik effect. And that is for you to pick the beach house. So let's use a marathon because a marathon is a really simple metaphor that everybody understands. Let's say you want to check off a bucket list item and you want to complete a marathon, which is 26.2 miles. Yes, put the finish line up. Yes, put the race bib up. Yes, put up all these things that show you what it feels like to accomplish the goal. But if you really want to get it done, also put on that board a photo of somebody running in the rain. Also put on that board a photo of an alarm clock that says 5:13 a.m.
The reality.
Also put up the reality. And then when you're manifesting and you're thinking about crossing that finish line, don't stay on the finish line. Think about what it's going to be like in February when you're on mile 11 on a training run and your earbuds run out and it starts to rain and you see yourself continuing to run. And when you manifest and visualize and allow yourself to feel that moment, the moment in between, the work that gets you there, you want a business of your own, manifest late nights, manifest the text where you say, sorry, I got to stay in and work on something, can't come to the party. Manifest you being told no, manifest the thing getting canceled, manifest picking up the phone again, because what you're doing is you're socializing your nervous system and your brain and your heart and your soul to do the work and to not stop when all of the things that happen that come into your way will eventually believe. And this is a way to cultivate something that I'm going to teach you how to do, which is to have a high five attitude. A high five attitude is simply the belief that if you continue to work hard, if you stay optimistic, if you give up your timeline through optimism, through hard work, you can figure it out. Things will work out how they're meant to work out. You can make a difference through your attitude and your effort on anything. That's a high five attitude, that no matter what's going on around you.
Do you believe in pessimism and optimistic personalities, or do you believe that pessimism and optimism are a choice? Like, because some people have come from a land of no, and is that learned, or is that something you have to work towards, the land of knowers who
depends on the baby's first word.
I think it's an excellent question. And I believe optimism is a skill that everybody needs to practice and learn, because all the studies show that when you have a more positive outlook, and I believe in realistic optimism, that doesn't mean toxic positivity. It doesn't mean that you can put a nice brush stroke on really shitty problems that people face, from poverty to racism to discrimination to all these things that are real. You may be facing a death, you in your family, you may have a heartbreak, somebody may have cheated. Like, this shit is real.
Yeah.
But here's the difference that an optimistic or high five attitude has. When you become pessimistic, the obstacles magnify and your belief in yourself diminishes. When you start to, again, high five yourself in that mirror. And here's the thing, especially if you're going through a challenging time, you need it more than ever. Because when you raise the hand and you go to high five yourself, right when somebody just said, I'm sorry, I don't love you anymore, I've fallen in love with your best friend, the high five is also an acknowledgement that this fucking sucks. I see you. I see that this sucks. And it's also in the same time saying, and you know what? You're going to be okay. I got you. I got your back. We don't watch a marathon, right? If you're a spectator at a marathon, you don't stand at mile 8 and go, you're not done yet. I'm not cheering for you right now. Look at that split time for that half mile. You don't do that. You freaking high five and cheer for the runners every step of the way, because it's what keeps them going. You see, we have bought into this lie that you got to hit the number on the scale before you're going to celebrate yourself. You have to have the money in the bank account. You have to have the right relationship. You got to be where you're supposed to be and drive the right car and have the right house and have the right friend group before you will celebrate yourself. I'm here to tell you it's the opposite.
Right.
You actually need to show up every day and give yourself the support. If you can drag your ass out of bed after these last 18 months and you're still breathing and you're still trying to do a little bit better, you not only deserve a high five, you need one. And one more thing about our kids, we can bolster our kids all you want. You want to know, there's so much too in this book about parenting, because I've got a ton of stories about parenting mistakes I've made, ways I've like plummeted my kids' esteem, things that are heartbreaking, like chapter, as I was writing this book, chapter 4, I get a text from one of our daughters. How do I not feel like the ugliest girl at the bar every time I go out? You want to know something as a mom? I can't change that. Only she can. If I stand in front of the mirror and say, but you're beautiful, but you're loyal, but you're an amazing human being, but you're funny, but you're this, and you will meet somebody, you just haven't met the right, she can't even hear it because it's not what she says to herself. So the reason why you have to make this a habit to stand before yourself, the human being, and see the human being in that body and recognize that you're sad, or recognize that you're beating yourself up, or recognize that you're not where you need to be. And then raise your hand and say, I hear it. And you know what? I still love you. I still support you. I'm still here for you. Only she can change that for herself.
Yeah.
I can provide tools. I can provide a nutritionist.
Totally.
I can provide a psychologist, but your children and you, they got to do the work themselves. And so this
Mel,
is a tool that will help them do it.
There's something that happens between, young children, because I have a 5-year-old who can't look in the mirror, or 6-year-old who can't see herself, right? Because she's not tall enough to look in all the mirrors. And so she's not looking at herself constantly. And I would say all of our kids when they were younger just love themselves so much, right? They think they're beautiful and strong and
best singers, best dancers.
Yeah, like my hair is amazing, like I am beautiful. And there's something that happens with comparisons when they begin to, although she's obsessed with her older sister, but there's this thing that they have this confidence. And somehow, if we can think about that as adults, that we have, at one point we were madly in love with ourselves, because that's what young children do, or they're madly in love with themselves, and then you lose it. So you had it, and then something happened for you to begin to lose it. So you can be inspired by the children around us, because that person hasn't changed. That person has just been told to not love themselves like that child has loved them. So it's going back to that original, there's so much beauty in that toddler, that 5-year-old who walks down in their tutu, and everyone's looking at them and they're like, look at me, and we stop saying that. We say, don't look at me. And there's a shift.
You're exactly right. Well, you want to know the good news? The good news is all that is wired into your DNA.
Yes.
Life made you doubt it. And so this is a way to get back to who you really are. And that doesn't mean you're arrogant. It doesn't mean that you're selfish. It means that of every human being on the planet, you realize you're the one person you go through life with, and that your relationship with yourself is the foundation of every relationship that you have. Because if you don't love yourself, you will never believe that somebody else truly loves you, and you'll continue to sabotage that relationship. If you are insecure with the person you see in the mirror, you will behave in insecure ways out in the world. It starts with you.
Expect your relationships to fill that. I think a lot of obviously people have to read this book, because I think it's going to help so many people, like you said. And we have been taking up so much of your time, but I want to ask one last question, which is, a lot of women, when we talk about manifesting or believing in themselves, their partner or spouse will be the first one to, kind of knock them down, or be like, this is the dumb, like, what are you doing? This is so dumb. Or, when they begin to find themselves, it's a really nervous feeling for the partner, and it can rock their relationship. Any advice, we did a kind of like a dream, what was it, like a live where people came in and they're like, I can't show my husband or my partner when we did the vision boarding. I could never show them because they would just like laugh at me for it. I'm too embarrassed to show them. I guess you just work on yourself, and you when your partner sees
Well, let me give you a
changing
perspective check, okay, on this, okay? First of all, it's super normal. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to end the relationship. It's super normal
okay,
to have the people closest to you not cheer for you and not celebrate you. And there's a reason why. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. I think I write about this in the book. So there was a period of time after Chris's restaurants failed that he stopped drinking completely and started to get, himself whole again. And I remember very distinctly when that happened, I was cooking and I went to pour myself a glass of wine. And I noticed I felt self-conscious that I was about to have a big glass of wine and he was drinking water. And so I immediately did what your husbands and partners are doing. I was like, oh, come on, just have a glass of wine. Why do you need to be sober? Like I started sabotaging and undermining the changes he wanted to make in his life. Why? I'll tell you why. Because his changes made me confronted about what I was doing. And so Chris turned to me and he said, Mel, I don't want a glass of wine. If you want to have a glass of wine, great, have a glass of wine. And then he said this, nobody cares about what's in your cup except for you. So if you don't like what's in your cup, stop barking about what's in mine and focus on what should be in yours. And so keep in mind that any change that you're making is confronting to somebody who's not changing.
Right.
You have got to keep showing up and cheering for yourself. And this is especially true for women because we've been socialized to believe that our worth is determined by whether or not somebody else approves or somebody else loves us. You got to be able to look in the mirror, to see a human being that you love, and to see a human being whose choices make you proud. And if everybody else has a problem with that, they need to deal with that with their therapist. And the more that you do this, the more you'll be able to express boundaries, and the more you'll be able to make requests. And the stronger that you get, knowing that you have your own back and you're really confident in who you are, the more that your marriage will change because you're changing. And it's my hope that it changes for the better. But the fact of the matter is, as long as you are taking responsibility for your own happiness and your own sense of worth and your own sense of value as a human being, if that doesn't improve the relationship that you're in to show up as a better you, you're not in the right relationship.
I totally agree.
Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you. So make sure you subscribe. Mwah.